So Elsie, not at least, sat down with Punch. I've been watching her for a while, and listen, forgive me if I haven't been around to know, but she's definitely on the come up, definitely doing her thing. So shout out to her. Round of applause. And I want to say she's a newcomer on the scene doing her thing, but if she is not a newcomer on the scene and it's just me that I just discovered her, my bad. But shout out to Elsie, man. Shout out to her. Now, she sat down with Punch and had a very good interview with Punch, and I really want to just go through that and watch that with y'all, and then we're going to react to it, all right? Let's get to it.
Like, recently there's Alameda.
Right.
And she's like a rock artist, basically. Like, what are y'all trying to build here? Because it's like you started with rap, and then you have like some R&B artists come into the mix, and now you're kind of still diversifying that. Like, what's the goal?
We want to build a record label.
So it's no longer like a rap thing. Because when people say TDE, they think of rap.
I wanted to change that, like specifically. So again, with the first 4 guys, we built the reputation as a dope hip hop label.
Yeah.
So now I said, okay, we need something that's not rap. And that's when I started working with SZA, and then that happened and she blew. So now it's like, oh, okay, this is legitimately a music label. So now you introduce Sir, you introduce Alameda, you introduce Doechii. It's a wide variety.
Yeah, and that's really a thing that people need to really recognize. They have such a wide array of artists. I feel like no 2 artists are really the same. Even if we're talking about rap, right? We can't put J-Rock and Schoolboy Q in the same box. Like, they all bring you something different. And I feel like TDE does a great job, just the talent that they secure. I feel like they do a great job with that, man. The wide range of artists they got right now, the Doechii, the SZA, like, come on, man. What more could you ask for? TDE is definitely a super slept on label as far as their roster goes. To me, they have the best roster right now for an independent label.
How do you handle, because I feel like with SZA, because she's not, I feel like the audience is different. I feel like the audience for rap are a lot more chill.
Yeah.
Go on to R&B and there's like very crazy stands coming to the mix. Like, how do you handle that intensity? Because like you're very forward facing. Everyone knew that y'all worked together. It was all out there, and you had to directly interact with a lot of these fans on that side. And how was dealing with that, even with her?
Well, I'll start with me. With me first, like I'm from the projects. It's like we talking about words and typing. I don't really.
Yo, Punch said, man, y'all niggas on y'all keyboards, man. I ain't trying to hear all that shit, man.
I don't do much for me. But I get the pressure that some people might feel, and I understand it. But for me personally, nah, we could. I think Tyler once said, how could you get bullied online? Just cut the computer off?
That's true. But I think of the artist. It could affect the artist.
For sure. And again, so that's the other half of it. Like, artists are generally sensitive people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, of course, seeing certain comments and seeing what people were saying would bother certain artists for sure.
And I could get that. As artists, I mean, if you're out there and you're putting your work out there, and a lot of your work is like you putting out your personal thoughts, right? If you write in your own shit, right? If you're putting out your personal thoughts and your personal struggles and things that you feel, your music becomes one with you. So when you have people that have things to say about it, people who may critique your album, or may say things negative about something that you feel like you spent your precious time on creating, you could definitely feel some type of way. Like, and it's nothing negative. I feel like it only makes sense for you to feel some type of way. I think there's a lot of artists out there that are really strong to the point where they can ignore everything that's being said about them. And you have other artists who try and they fail miserably because you always feel this need to come out and defend yourself. So I can understand it from an artist perspective. From an executive standpoint, it affects you as an executive if it affects your artist being able to create. This is why I feel like they get involved.
There's this running narrative that, TDE artists take forever to drop. I don't think that's necessarily true based on what I've seen, but I do know that there's a lot of, like speaking with Ray Vaughn the other day, it's like there is kind of a pressure where it's like, I'm not just dropping music as an artist, I'm dropping music as someone that's part of TDE, and I have to keep up with the quality.
Yeah.
But then how do y'all communicate that internally to tell an artist, like, nah, it's time to wait or it's time to drop? Like, how does that conversation look like?
It's really that. It's just the conversation. It's like how you feeling, what you think about the records. They express how they feel. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, all right. What you think about trying this? What about that? What about that? You feel like you got a complete album? You feel you said everything that you needed to say to get your point across in this record? And they, you know, think about it or whatever. They say yes or they say no. It's like 90% of the time when they say they ready, then we gonna go.
What happens if they say they're ready, but you don't think they're ready?
I'll definitely speak up. Everybody will speak up. Top will say something, Musa will say something. But again, like, the artist is gonna get the last call.
And that's important to note. I mean, I know there was a time where SZA wanted to drop music and, you know, they were saying that she wasn't ready to drop music. So I think it's all fair game. You got to trust the process as an artist. If you have a label that has your best interest in mind, trusting the process is something that's super important. But when you have a label like TDE, right, and you have people like who are directly involved, and, you know, these guys have history, man, you know, and I think that's what makes it easy for new artists coming in. Because new artists can come in and see like, yo, this person has done this before. Like, they know what they're talking about. So you can trust these people with your project. So if they say, you know, we think you should wait, hold off, we think it needs this or it needs that, it's easier to trust these guys.
They also trust in us. If we saying something, we saying it for a reason, because nobody is yes men or yes women. It's like we here for a reason, and just like they here for a reason, and we're a team. I might see something you're not seeing at that moment. And then you might see something that I'm missing.
That's true.
And that's how the relationship works.
I think it's different hearing that from you, because on the outside, it's like, oh my God, like Punch is holding this artist hostage.
Right.
I wanted to drop, so that's good to hear, actually.
No, it's no benefit in me holding the album. I can't get paid.
That's true.
If the album is not out,
That's
what
true. So as Deluxe that dropped, Lana, I thought it was really interesting because for me, like, y'all dropped this entirely new project, like 15 new songs.
Yeah.
Then called it a Deluxe.
Right.
To SOS. And some people online have said, you know, maybe that was done to inflate the numbers of SOS that were already amazing at that point. But what was what happened and why was that the direction that y'all decided to take? Because I feel like that could have dropped as its own unique project.
It was more so about purging, getting everything out and off so she can move on to the next phase. So it wasn't about trying to inflate numbers or make a long project so it keeps streaming. It was more so a creative decision to get all of that music out so nothing is left, and then she could just start fresh on whatever the next thing is. I can see that.
I mean, but you could have done that with like an EP or called it something else, or like a mixtape like everyone's doing these days. Like,
yeah, I mean, but we kind of do it how we want to do it. You know what I mean? Usually a deluxe is a couple new songs. Yeah. We did 15 and then added some more after that.
Which was, we
just kind of move how we feel and want to move.
I guess that's a fair answer. Although I don't quite agree.
What you don't agree with?
I don't know. I just feel like calling a deluxe with 15 songs, it's like overkill for me.
Why?
It's 15 songs. It's a separate thing at that point.
What's the rule on how many songs can a deluxe be?
There's no rule, but it's like a deluxe is a deluxe.
And that's based on what other people have done before, right?
But that's everything in life.
For sure. And then you got some people that come and break all the rules and start trends in other areas.
I don't feel like I like that trend, though. I don't want that to be a trend.
I feel it. I don't get it, though. Why not?
It gives off the impression that the artist is kind of trigger shy. It's like you don't want this to stand as its own project, because when you put it together as a deluxe, it kind of takes off the pressure. I mean,
how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all think putting out 15 songs and calling it a deluxe, do you have reservations against that? Or do you actually like that format? Let me know how y'all feel about it. I like that this is a conversation more than an interview. You know, it's great to agree to disagree. And we see that happening in real time. I like it.
At the end of the day, whether you call it an album, a deluxe, a mixtape, a project, it's still a body of work that's going to go in the world and people are going to judge it how they want.
It's true. But it's judged differently. A mixtape is judged differently from an album.
Which makes no sense. It's still a body of work.
It is, but like an album sounds more serious. It's like, this is an album. Mixtape is like, kind of threw stuff together.
So it's all about the packaging and perception of how people think it should go.
True. I've seen some mixtapes that sound amazing. I've seen some albums that's straight up trash. So, again, same product, different packaging, I guess.
So you're saying that you didn't consider that?
Consider everything. And also, I don't care about a lot of the tradition. I think Kendrick Lamar's project was called the Kendrick Lamar EP. It had 15 songs.
True. Actually. Oh, wow. That's actually true.
Yeah, so it's a long history and track record of doing stuff that's unorthodox.
One thing I want to ask, speaking of Kendrick, I think one time you mentioned that Section 80 was never even supposed to be like a mix. I know a lot of people like say that. Where'd that narrative come from? That it was like a mixtape, not like a debut album.
In my era, mixtape was you hopping on other people's beats, doing freestyles over them, or you just throwing out loose songs that don't have no home, compiling them all together, and that's the mixtape.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I remember. Mixtape, that time to me was the G Unit mixtapes, the Dipset mixtapes, like that was true mixtape time for me. Now it's like, feels like an album that you put out without the pressure of an album. To me, that's what a mixtape really boils down to these days.
Then you have a mixtape DJ who might be mixing through the whole thing, and like to me, that was a mixtape. With us, we started doing actual albums, but because they wasn't released on the major companies, people refer to them as mixtapes. But that wasn't never our mindset. Like the first project we sold was Kendrick Lamar OD. So from that point on, we sold everything else. We wasn't giving out nothing else free because we wanted that relationship. If I put out music, it should be paid for.
Kendrick dropped that Went All the Way EP, overly dedicated. Section 80, Go All the Way to Get Kid Massity. And then he drops To Pimp a Butterfly. And that's so left field compared to everything else. Were there like, maybe any second guesses of how that was going to be received? Because I feel like it's just so audacious, that album.
It's funny, I said this online before. While we were working on To Pimp a Butterfly, me and SZA would go to Beyonce's session and she was writing for her. Jay-Z was there every night, so I had a chance to talk to him, and I told him, I'm like, yo, we already dropped this album that's gonna piss off the whole fan base. And his response was, good, do it now so they can't never put you in a box.
Why Jay-Z always got these damn, like, everybody got a story of Jay-Z giving them some kind of quote of wisdom. Damn, that's good advice right there. Do it now so they can't put you in a box. I feel that.
And that just stuck with me for sure. So it gave me, like you said, when I told Q, keep coming back, it gave me like more confidence, like, yeah, we on the right track, for sure. That's always the thing, is rules that's set. The geniuses know when to break those rules.
Valid advice from Jay.
Right. And with that being said, he can never be put in the box.
That is true. I want to talk about Doechii. How did y'all discover her and decide to, bring her on?
That was Musa. That's Musa's whole thing. He found her, flew her out, just played records or whatever, and simple as that. You know what I mean? Where everybody loved the songs, loved the versatility, loved how polished she was early. So it was kind of a no-brainer for everybody.
I feel like in some of her songs, she kind of talked about pressure after signing to a label to kind of put out TikTok music. How is that on the inside?
When artists say that, when they talk about the label, it's a couple things. Like one, TDE is the label, but then we partner with, like with hers, with Capital.
Majors.
You know what I mean? So there's never really a distinction when
Oh, I
Spin
see.
said the
Oh,
label.
okay, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Right. But of course, like, I mean, TikTok is a part of the business now. My whole thing with it is, if you're going to do it to where it makes sense for you as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a hardcore hip hop artist, I don't want to see you making dances.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
I prefer you not to do that. Like, show something else on that platform that's true to you.
Do you feel like you ever give advice to, like, you know, especially like the newer acts like on TDE to, like, you know, present themselves in a certain way online? Because there's a certain way that an artist could present themselves that's like at odds with who they are in their music.
That's why I preach being honest in your music. If you're honest in your music, then that circulates to everywhere else. You know what I mean? You don't have to pretend or put up no act when you're online and have a whole nother persona than who you are in your songs. Because eventually that's going to bleed through and people going to see what it is. Like, you can fool somebody for a short period of time, but eventually it's going to come
Yeah,
out.
you can't sustain that, really.
Right.
It's true.
We all know where that could apply. Just saying, dog. We know where that could apply. The best policy is to just be honest in your music. Just be honest about what you're talking about, honest about what you're rapping about, because at some point, people going to see whether that's really you or not you. So definitely something that upcoming artists need to take heed to and just understand.
Do you see Doechii's trajectory being the way that it did? Because for a lot of people that weren't really tapped in, it feels like this huge overnight like rocket. And there's, of course, like, oh my God, where do you come from? Industry plant. How did you see that pan out? Because she won a Grammy and it's best rap album. A woman hasn't won that since, like...
Yeah, her trajectory is insane. Like, I think her strong point is the live performance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's so polished to be so early in her career, and that's something that stands out for sure.
But did you see it coming?
Yeah, you can tell. Absolutely.
To this level, though?
Yeah.
Because I feel like even as a fan, I didn't see it coming.
And this is the thing you can't predict in music is timing. So I think at the time when her project dropped, people wanted something new and refreshing, and I think she provided that. Like, she was actually rapping. Her timing was crazy on her cadences, and it matched the performances, and it matched the visuals, and everything just clicked at that right time. And that's why it took off, because the actual music was good too. So that's the first point. That's the bottom line, is the music is good. Once the music is good, you can build off of that.
So Punch talks about the divide in music, and I thought this was a very important part of the interview. And it's just to talk about the divide in hip hop. I thought it was very interesting the way that he put this. So let's check this out.
Kind of stated, I think in some of your tweets, that there's like this divide in hip hop. I think that's the best way to put it. What do you think that divide is? And how do you think that has affected certain artists? Because I feel like Doechii has kind of, unfortunately, gotten a lot of residual backlash just from being affiliated.
Yeah,
with
for
TDE.
sure.
But how do you see all of that?
Man, it's just a part of the game. You know what I mean? Battling has been a part of the game since the beginning of it. It's just certain collateral damage that happens in the process, whether it's warranted or not. She fine. She got tough skin and she can rap.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. That's one thing that people need to know about Doechii. Like, they could say whatever they want. They could say industry plant. They could talk all that, but nobody gonna tell you Doechii can't rap. They might come and say, oh, well, does she write her shit? Oh, maybe she not writing it. And the reason why they question whether she write is because she rapping. So, I mean, people could say what they want, but real people know that Doechii put in some work. Doechii didn't just, like, magically appear out of nowhere. She put in the work, man. And if you look back at her early days even before TDE, you would know that. Do that homework.
Can't rap with her either, so.
That's true. But what's that divide, though? What's the divide?
I think the divide is, like you mentioned earlier, it's like stan wars.
Unfortunately, yes.
You know what I mean? And what stans, it's like they generally not hip-hop fans as a whole. So they fans of one particular artist. You know what I mean? So it's like the fun part was arguing back and forth, but the arguing when you have hip-hop knowledge.
About the music.
About the whole music as a whole.
And I think that was important to point out, important to say, because that's one thing that we noticed. We see people argue all the time online, right? We always see like these fans who argue online, and no matter what you say, no matter how you explain something to them, they just end up making an excuse for something else. They just don't care about anything else outside of the fact that they love the artist that they love. And I don't want to make this come off like it's just one side. Let's keep it real. There are stands on both sides. And I think in any beef rap battle you go into, there's going to be stands on both sides. And these people are people that no matter what you say about what's going on, they will always side with that person because they're not siding on the side of hip hop. They're siding on the side of I love that person. I mean, I feel like anybody who knows hip hop, has a respect for hip hop, they did not look at Drake suing after this battle as something that was honorable. I feel like the only people that defend that are the people who are either naive and making an excuse for him, or they just don't care. And there was a lot of people that came and had opinions during the beef and know nothing about hip hop. And listen, it is what it is. You're going to have that. But I think it's important to understand the difference between a stan and a fan. Definitely super accurate on that.
Like, that's when it, like, kind of spoils the whole thing.
Do you feel like it's ever going to go back to what it used to be?
No.
Damn.
It's over.
Damn.
Party done.
Damn.
That sounds bleak.
That man said, it's over. Party done. Party died. All right, everybody, it's a wrap. Get out of here. Grab a plate. Exits over there in the back. Get your ass out. The party is done. Listen, it does sound dark. Sounds bad. This era of fandom that we had, this era of stands that we have, it is what it is. I already told y'all, man, even when I'm online, I don't argue with people who got OVO in their name. I don't argue with people who call themselves anything after an artist, because I feel like at that point, if we ever talk and have a debate or we have a discussion about anything hip hop, we're not going to have a conversation in good faith. We're going to have a conversation of you trying to convince me why I should feel like you do about said artist, you know? So that's how I look at it.
But I mean, you build and destroy. That's how it go. That's life cycle. That's human.
But I feel like that puts a little bit of pressure on artists coming up in this climate to kind of want their own stands, people that are gonna fight tooth and nail for you, because that's a new normal.
Get you somebody like Academics, somebody that's gonna ride for you no matter what you do.
That's mine.
But again, still, it's a distinction between fans and actual hip hop fans. Like, just because I like somebody and I'm a hip hop fan, that don't mean I don't like the other person.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I can still listen to somebody else's music just because they was going back and forth with my person.
That's true.
The stands don't do that.
They don't play
They
that.
cool.
I think that's interesting to say. I feel like that's very factual in a lot of ways, but I feel like there are a lot of things that just made this battle more historic and it's just a little bit different than other battles. I can understand people saying, I can't listen to Drake anymore. I can understand people saying that only because I feel like if you are somebody who has respect for hip hop, I feel like there's just been so many things done in the midst of this battle. I feel like a lot of the actions just turned a lot of people off. You know what I mean? And people might disagree with that, but I think there were just a lot of things that turned people off. So I can see somebody saying, I'm not listening to Drake anymore. I think the problem that I have is when people get to a point where they get so caught up on one side that they can't even acknowledge the positives of the other side. And what I mean by that is if Drake was to do something right now that was be considered positive, I don't know, let's say he apologized for the lawsuit and dropped the lawsuit and did a press conference talking about how he respects hip hop and he should have never done that. I think people should be able to give him some type of credit for at least doing that. Now, does that mean people will forgive him? Hell no. But that's what I mean. Like, just being able to acknowledge that, okay, I can't even say like, yo, hey man, Drake had an amazing track that he put out just the other day. They not trying to hear that shit. Or even the opposite. If I say, yo, Kendrick had a couple classic albums, like there's fans on that side who, even though they know it's true and the numbers are right there in front of them, they will not fucking want to hear that. And I think that's what they mean when they say this.
Does that moment change how you move as an executive? Like the whole aftermath of everything?
Move in what way?
Just general in the way like the relationships with the artists, how you maybe advise them, prepare them to be ready for a possible moment like that at any point.
As a rapper, when we talk about rap, then yeah, you're always ready for that. Like we talk about, you know what I'm saying, the whole battling aspect. Like that's really just hip hop. We was always ready for that sort of thing.
I want to talk about streaming. From your perspective, what do you think is the biggest challenge the artists face today that they didn't face 10 years ago?
Like it changes every 6 months at this point. So it's not even 10 years ago, it's last year. The difference is like, for one, this algorithm everybody is battling. The algorithm is really splitting everything up, where it's breaking off into all different sectors.
Very unpredictable too.
And they don't really cross other things, or it's getting less and less. So it's like if your interest is one thing, that's what the algorithm gonna keep feeding you.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it don't get like, it's tough for a new artist to get their music to everybody.
And that's tough because I can tell y'all there's a lot of good artists out there that people just haven't discovered. It's hard, man. You just gotta hope the algorithm blesses you with some great music. And even then, man, you might have a great artist that pops up on your feed and you never check it out. Whatever it said, whatever the title was on it, whatever the name of the song was on it, didn't intrigue you enough. I'm not going to play the whole interview because I think it's definitely a dope watch. I think you should go watch this interview in its entirety. I mean, he talks about coming up, TDE, more about Kendrick. I think it's a dope interview to watch. So I would suggest y'all go watch the full interview and subscribe to Elsie, not Elise, man. Definitely doing her thing. Great interview. I love that she had this feeling like a conversation rather than like an interview. Check it out. Hit that subscribe button for her. Show some support. And show some support over here. Hit that subscribe button here. Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Goods, BigZoeTV. Let's go.
This is not a song. This is a revelation. How to get a nigga gone. I need you a man, baby. I don't understand, baby. Pay your bill and make you feel protected like I can, baby. Teach you something if you need correction. That's the plan, baby. Don't put your life in these weird niggas' hands, baby. It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that'll really step, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough. I get on their ass. Yeah, somebody gotta do it. I make them niggas mad. Yeah, somebody gotta do it. I take the G pass. Yeah, watch a nigga do it. We survived outside, all from the music, nigga.